The intergalactic mating program. In a distant corner of the galaxy, on a small, unassuming planet called Kylok, a beautiful humanoid alien girl named Thea sat in her room, her brow furrowed with worry. Her parents, Sa and Mera, had just informed her of their decision to find her a suitable mate through the new intergalactic mating program. Thea had always been a free spirit, focusing on her studies and exploring the wonders of the universe. But now, at the age of 25 Earth years, her parents believed it was time for her to settle down and start a family. Thea sighed heavily as she scrolled through the list of potential mates on her holographic screen. She had heard stories about the various species that inhabited the galaxy, but one in particular made her shudder: humans. From what Thea had learned, humans were a brutal, primitive race from a high-gravity planet called Earth. They were known for their aggression, their hairy bodies, and their penchant for violence. The thought of mating with one of these creatures made Thea's stomach churn. Little did she know, her parents had already made their choice. Sa and Mera had spent countless hours researching the compatibility of different species with their own, and to their surprise, humans had scored exceptionally high. They had read about the humans' resilience, their adaptability, and their unwavering loyalty to their mates. In their eyes, a human male would be the perfect match for their beloved daughter. Sa knocked gently on Thea's door before entering. "Thea, my dear," he said softly, "your mother and I have some exciting news. We found a mate for you." Thea's eyes widened in disbelief. "What? Already? But I haven't even had a chance to look through all the profiles." Mera joined her husband, placing a comforting hand on Thea's shoulder. "We know this may come as a surprise, but trust us, we've done our research. We truly believe this match will be perfect for you." Thea's heart raced as she asked, "Who is it? What species?" Sa and Mera exchanged a glance before Sa replied, "A human male named Clark." Thea's jaw dropped. "A human? Are you out of your mind? They're savages. I can't possibly mate with a human." Mera smiled reassuringly. "Thea, we understand your concerns, but we've learned that humans are not at all what the stories make them out to be. They are a remarkable species, and Clark in particular seems like an excellent match for you." Thea shook her head in disbelief. "I can't believe this is happening. I don't want to mate with some brutish, hairy beast." Sa chuckled. Now, Thea, don't be so quick to judge. We've arranged for you to meet Clark at the Intergalactic Mating Center tomorrow. Just give him a chance, and if you truly don't feel a connection, we won't force you to proceed." Thea knew there was no arguing with her parents once they had made up their minds. With a heavy heart, she agreed to meet this Clark, though she was certain nothing would come of it. As her parents left her room, Thea flopped back onto her bed, dreading the encounter that awaited her the next day. The fateful meeting. The next day, Thea found herself at the Intergalactic Mating Center, a bustling hub where species from all corners of the galaxy came to find their perfect match. She nervously smoothed her shimmering silver dress as she waited for Clark to arrive. Thea had no idea what to expect, but she steeled herself for the worst. Suddenly, a tall figure emerged from the crowd, and Thea's breath caught in her throat. There, striding towards her with confidence and grace, was the most striking creature she had ever laid eyes upon. Clark was not at all the brutish, hairy beast she had imagined. Instead, he was lean and muscular, with smooth, tan skin and piercing blue eyes that seemed to stare straight into her soul. His dark hair was cropped short, and he wore a fitted black suit that accentuated his powerful physique. As Clark approached, he flashed Thea a dazzling smile that made her heart skip a beat. "Thea," he asked, his voice deep and melodic, "I'm Clark. It's a pleasure to meet you." Thea found herself at a loss for words, her preconceived notions about humans crumbling in an instant. Maybe, just maybe, her parents had been right after all. As Clark extended his hand in greeting, Thea knew that this was just the beginning of an extraordinary journey, one that would challenge everything she thought she knew about love and companionship in the vast, wondrous universe they called home. She placed her hand in his, and a spark of electricity seemed to pass between them. His grip was firm but gentle, and his eyes held a warmth that made her feel instantly at ease. "It's lovely to meet you, Clark," she managed to say, her voice barely above a whisper. Clark's smile widened. "I must admit, I was a bit nervous about this whole arranged mating thing, but seeing you now, I feel like the luckiest guy in the galaxy." Thea blushed, her cheeks turning a delicate shade of lavender. "I had my reservations too," she confessed, "but I'm starting to think my parents might have been onto something." Clark chuckled. "Well, how about we get to know each other a bit better? I heard there's a great little cafe not far from here that serves the best space lats in the sector." Thea nodded eagerly, and the two set off, their hands still intertwined as they walked. As they began to share stories about their lives and their worlds, Thea was fascinated by Clark's tales of Earth, a planet so different from her own. He spoke of towering mountains, vast oceans, and sprawling cities filled with life and energy. In turn, she told him about Kylok, with its purple skies, floating islands, and the gentle, telepathic creatures that roamed its forests. At the cafe, they settled into a cozy booth, sipping their space lats and nibbling on exotic pastries. Thea found herself drawn to Clark's quick wit and charming sense of humor. He had a way of making her laugh that made all her worries melt away. As they talked, Thea began to realize that her initial fears about humans had been completely unfounded. Clark was kind, intelligent, and compassionate. He listened attentively to her every word, and his eyes sparkled with genuine interest. Hours passed, and the cafe began to empty, but the two hardly noticed. They were lost in their own little world, sharing stories, dreams, and hopes for the future. It wasn't until the owner politely informed them that they were closing that they realized how much time had passed. Clark walked Thea back to her transport pod, his hand resting gently on the small of her back. "I had an incredible time with you, Thea," he said softly. "I know this whole mating arrangement might seem a bit unconventional, but I really feel like there's something special between us." Thea's heart swelled with emotion. "I feel it too, Clark. I never thought I could feel this way about someone, let alone a human, but you've shown me that there's so much more to your species than I ever imagined." As they reached her pod, Clark took both of her hands in his. "Thea, I know we've only just met, but I feel an undeniable connection with you. I want to explore this further, not just because of the mating arrangement, but because I genuinely want to get to know you better." Thea's heart raced at his words. "I feel the same way, Clark. I never expected to be so drawn to someone, especially a human, but here we are, and I can't deny the chemistry between us." Clark grinned mischievously. "Speaking of chemistry, I know our meeting was initially about finding a suitable mate. I don't want to rush things, but I can't help but imagine what it would be like to be with you in that way." Thea blushed, her skin tingling at the thought. "I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it too, but you're right, we shouldn't rush into anything. Let's take our time and see where this journey takes us." Clark nodded, his eyes smoldering with a mix of desire and respect. "Agreed, but just so you know, when the time is right, I fully intend to explore every inch of your beautiful body and show you pleasures you've never even dreamed of." Thea's breath hitched at his bold words. "I look forward to it," she whispered, her voice heavy with anticipation. With a final searing kiss, Clark reluctantly pulled away. "Until next time, my stunning Thea. Sweet dreams." As Thea watched him go, her mind swirled with thoughts of their future together, both romantic and carnal. She knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, she had found someone special in Clark, and she was ready to embrace all that their relationship had to offer. Exploring new horizons. In the weeks that followed, Thea and Clark's relationship blossomed like a rare and beautiful flower. They spent every spare moment together, exploring each other's worlds and cultures, and discovering the depths of their growing feelings for one another. Thea introduced Clark to the wonders of Kylok, taking him to the floating islands where they picnicked beneath the purple skies. She led him into the enchanted forest, where the telepathic creatures welcomed him with open minds and hearts. Clark, in turn, shared with her the virtual reality simulations of Earth's most breathtaking landscapes, from the majestic peaks of the Himalayas to the crystal-clear waters of the Caribbean. As they grew closer, their physical attraction became increasingly difficult to ignore. Stolen glances and lingering touches gave way to passionate embraces and searing kisses that left them both breathless and aching for more. One evening, as they sat together in Thea's private garden, watching the stars dance across the night sky, Clark turned to her, his eyes smoldering with desire. "Tharia," he whispered, his voice rough with emotion, "I don't think I can resist you any longer. I want you in every way possible." Thaya's heart raced at his words, her body responding with a fierce longing that threatened to consume her. "I want you too, Clark," she breathed, her hands sliding over his broad shoulders. "I've never felt this way about anyone before." In a single fluid motion, Clark pulled her into his lap, his strong arms encircling her waist as he claimed her mouth in a searing kiss. Thea melted into his embrace, her fingers tangling in his dark hair as she returned his kiss with equal fervor. Clothes were shed in a frenzy of desire, the hands exploring each other's bodies with a hunger that bordered on desperation. Clark's tan skin was warm and smooth beneath Thea's touch, his muscles rippling as he moved over her. Thea's own silvery skin seemed to glow in the starlight, her curves soft and inviting against Clark's hard plains. As they made love beneath the stars, their bodies moving together in perfect harmony, Thea knew that she had found something rare and precious in Clark. He wasn't just her mate, he was her soulmate, the missing piece of her heart that she hadn't even known she was searching for. In the afterglow of their passion, they lay entwined, their bodies still joined as they whispered words of love and devotion. Thea traced the contours of Clark's face with her fingertips, marveling at the depth of her feelings for him. "I never knew love could be like this," she murmured, her eyes shining with emotion. "I feel like I found my home in you, Clark." Clark smiled, his hand caressing the small of her back. "You're my home, Tharia. No matter where we are in this vast universe, as long as I'm with you, I'm exactly where I'm meant to be." As they drifted off to sleep, wrapped in each other's arms, Thea knew that their journey together was only just beginning. There would be challenges and obstacles to face, but with Clark by her side, she felt capable of taking on anything the galaxy could throw at them. Little did they know, their love was about to face an unexpected challenge, as a new obstacle appeared on the horizon, threatening to test the strength of their bond. But for now, in this perfect moment, all that mattered was the love they had found in each other's arms, a love that would guide them through the darkest of times and into a future brighter than any star in the sky. The traditionalist threat. As again Clark basked in the glow of their newfound love, a dark shadow loomed on the horizon, unbeknownst to the happy couple. A group of radical Korean traditionalists had caught wind of their interspecies relationship and were determined to put an end to it. The traditionalists, led by a fierce and uncompromising warrior named Zion, believed that the purity of the Kayan race was being threatened by the increasing number of interspecies unions. They saw Thea and Clark's relationship as a symbol of everything they stood against, and were willing to go to any length to tear them apart. One evening, as Thea and Clark strolled hand in hand through the bustling streets of the intergalactic mating center, they were suddenly ambushed by a group of masked assailants. The attackers, armed with energy weapons and shock batons, quickly surrounded the couple, their intentions clear. Clark immediately pushed Thea behind him, his body tense and ready for a fight. "What do you want?" he growled, his eyes narrowing as he sized up their opponents. The leader of the group, a tall, muscular Korean with cold, grey eyes, stepped forward. "We want an end to this abomination," he snarled, gesturing towards Thea and Clark. "Interspecies relationships are a threat to the purity of our race, and we will not stand by and watch as our people are corrupted by outsiders." Thea's eyes widened in shock and anger. "How dare you?" she cried, her voice trembling with emotion. "Our love is not an abomination. It's a beautiful thing, and it has nothing to do with the purity of our race." The leader sneered. "You are a traitor to your people, Thea. And you," he spat, turning his gaze to Clark, "you are a filthy human who has no place in our world. We will make an example of you both." With that, the attackers charged forward, their weapons crackling with energy. Clark leaped into action, his years of combat training on Earth kicking in as he dodged and weaved through the onslaught of blows. Thea, too, fought back with a ferocity that surprised even herself, her slender body moving with a grace and speed that belied her delicate appearance. Together, they managed to hold their own against the traditionalists, but they were heavily outnumbered and outgunned. Just as it seemed that all hope was lost, a squadron of intergalactic peacekeepers arrived on the scene, alerted by the commotion. The peacekeepers quickly subdued the attackers, placing them under arrest for assault and hate crimes. As the dust settled, Thea and Clark clung to each other, their bodies battered and bruised, but their spirits unbroken. "I won't let them tear us apart, Thea," Clark whispered fiercely, his arms tightening around Thea's waist. "I love you, and I'll fight for you until my last breath." Thea nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I love you too, Clark, and I won't let anyone stand in the way of our happiness. We'll face this together, no matter what." As the peacekeepers led the traditionalists away, Thea and Clark knew that their battle was far from over. The prejudice and hatred that had driven the attack was deeply rooted in Kolian society, and it would take more than a single victory to change the hearts and minds of those who opposed their love. But as they held each other close, their hearts beating as one, they knew that they had the strength and the courage to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Their love was a force to be reckoned with, and they would not let anyone or anything stand in the way of their happiness. A symbol of hope and unity. In the aftermath of the attack, Thea and Clark found themselves at the center of a galactic controversy. Their love story had become a symbol of hope and unity for those who believed in the power of interspecies relationships, while also serving as a lightning rod for those who clung to the old ways of prejudice and division. Despite the challenges they faced, Thea and Clark's love only grew stronger. They leaned on each other for support, finding solace in the warmth of each other's embrace and the depth of their emotional connection. As the weeks turned into months, Thea and Clark began to discuss the future of their relationship. They knew that they wanted to spend the rest of their lives together, but they also understood the gravity of the decision to mate and bear offspring. One evening, as they lay entwined in each other's arms, Clark broached the subject with a tender smile. "Tharia," he murmured, his fingers tracing the delicate curves of her face, "I know that we've faced so much adversity, but I also know that there's no one else in this universe that I want to spend my life with. I want to mate with you, to create a family that is a testament to the power of our love." Thaia's heart swelled with emotion, tears of joy welling up in her eyes. "Oh, Clark," she whispered, her voice trembling with the depth of her feelings, "I want that too. I want to bear your children, to create a legacy that will endure long after we're gone." They sealed their commitment with a passionate kiss, their bodies coming together in a dance of love and desire. As they moved together, their hearts beating as one, they knew that they were ready to take the next step in their journey. The mating ceremony was a small, intimate affair, attended only by their closest friends and family. Thea's parents, who had come to love Clark as their own, beamed with pride as they watched their daughter pledge her heart and her body to the man she loved. In the afterglow of their union, Thea and Clark basked in the knowledge that they had found something rare and precious, a love that would guide them through the darkest of times and into a future brighter than any star in the sky. But as they celebrated their newfound bond, they knew that the challenges they had faced were far from over. The prejudice and hatred that had driven the attack on them still simmered beneath the surface, and they were determined to be a beacon of hope and unity in a galaxy divided by prejudice. With their love as their guiding light, Thea and Clark prepared to face whatever obstacles lay ahead, confident in the knowledge that their bond was stronger than any force that sought to tear them apart. They were a symbol of hope, a testament to the power of love to transcend the boundaries of species and culture, and they were ready to inspire a new era of understanding and acceptance across the stars. A beacon of hope. As Thea and Clark settled into their new life as mates, they knew that their love was not just a personal triumph, but a symbol of hope and unity for those who believed in the power of interspecies relationships. Their story had captivated the imagination of countless beings across the galaxy, and they were determined to use their platform to inspire change and challenge the deep-rooted prejudices that threatened to tear their world apart. In the months that followed their mating ceremony, Thea and Clark became active voices in the growing movement for greater acceptance and understanding between species. They shared their story openly, speaking of the initial barriers they had faced and the deep, unbreakable bond they had forged in the face of adversity. Their words, imbued with the passion and authenticity of their own experience, resonated with those who had long felt isolated and alone in their own interspecies relationships. Thea and Clark became beacons of hope, shining a light on the transformative power of love to transcend the boundaries of culture and tradition. But their journey was not without its challenges. The radical Korean traditionalists who had attacked them remained a persistent threat, their hatred and fear of change undiminished by the couple's public advocacy. Thea and Clark found themselves the targets of a relentless campaign of harassment and intimidation, with the traditionalists working tirelessly to undermine their message and discredit their relationship. Yet, Thea and Clark refused to be cowed. They stood firm in their conviction, their love a bulwark against the darkness that sought to extinguish the light they had kindled. Together, they weathered the storm, drawing strength from each other and the growing network of allies who rallied to their cause. As their story spread across the galaxy, Thea and Clark became symbols of a new, more inclusive future, one in which the diversity of species and cultures was celebrated, not feared. Their voices grew louder, their message more powerful, and soon they found themselves at the forefront of a movement that was transforming the very fabric of interstellar society. Through their unwavering commitment to each other and their cause, Thea and Clark proved that love was the most powerful force in the universe. It was a love that transcended the boundaries of species and culture, a love that could bridge the divides and heal the wounds inflicted by centuries of prejudice and fear. And as they gazed into each other's eyes, their hands intertwined and their hearts beating as one, Thea and Clark knew that their journey was far from over. There were still battles to be fought, minds to be changed, and a future to be forged, a future in which their love would serve as a guiding light, inspiring others to embrace the beauty and wonder of the vast, interconnected tapestry of life that spanned the cosmos. With unwavering determination and an unshakable faith in the power of their bond, Thea and Clark set out to change the galaxy, one heart and mind at a time, their love the catalyst for a revolution that would redefine the very meaning of what it meant to be a part of the greater whole. A future brighter than any star. As Thea and Clark continued their crusade for greater understanding and acceptance across the galaxy, their love and commitment to one another only grew stronger. They faced each new challenge with a renewed sense of purpose, fueled by the knowledge that their relationship was a beacon of hope in a universe often divided by prejudice and fear. Together, they traveled to the farthest reaches of the cosmos, sharing their story and inspiring others to embrace the transformative power of interspecies connections. Their message resonated with beings from all walks of life, and soon they found themselves at the forefront of a movement that was reshaping the very fabric of galactic society. Yet, even as their public profile grew, Thea and Clark remained steadfast in their devotion to one another. They knew that the true strength of their love lay not in the accolades or the admiration of the masses, but in the unbreakable bond they had forged through the trials and tribulations they had faced. As they contemplated the future, Thea and Clark knew that the time had come to take the next step in their journey. With unwavering determination, they set out to expand their family, driven by the desire to create a legacy that would outlive them and stand as a testament to the power of their love. The pregnancy was not without its challenges, as Thea's body adapted to the unique demands of carrying a half-human, half-Kayan child. But through it all, Clark remained a constant source of support and strength, his unwavering devotion a salve for the physical and emotional trials Theia endured. When the day of the birth finally arrived, the entire galaxy seemed to hold its breath in anticipation, and as Theia cradled their newborn daughter in her arms, her heart swelling with a love so pure and profound that it threatened to consume her, Theia and Clark knew that they had achieved something truly extraordinary. Their daughter, a perfect blend of their two worlds, represented the embodiment of the vision they had fought so tirelessly to bring to fruition. She was the living, breathing symbol of a future where the boundaries of species and culture no longer mattered, where love reigned supreme and the diversity of the cosmos was celebrated as a source of strength and unity. As they watched their daughter grow, Theia and Clark knew that their work was far from over. They would continue to be champions for the cause, using their platform to inspire others and pave the way for a more inclusive and harmonious galaxy. But in those quiet moments, when they held their daughter close and whispered promises of a better tomorrow, Theia and Clark felt a profound sense of peace and fulfillment, for they knew that their love had transcended the limitations of time and space, creating a legacy that would shine brighter than any star in the sky. And as they gazed up at the endless expanse of the cosmos, their hearts brimming with hope and pride, Theia and Clark knew that their journey had only just begun, a journey that would continue to shape the future of the galaxy, one heart and mind at a time.